Hi friends, time for our weekly check-in. So actually, I'm on my way to the Gem Show in Tucson right now. I am in my van. If you guys didn't know, I have had my business for about 12, 13 years, and the first 7 or 8 years of that was exclusively wholesale for the most part. Once the pandemic happened, I realized how stuck I was. I was really craving a new adventure, so I packed everything up and I moved out to Las Vegas, and I moved my business from being exclusively wholesale to it could be 60 to 80% retail depending on the year. But basically, I really wanted to come out here and outfit a van to kind of live and camp out of, and I will stay out on the road often for several weeks doing shows and living out of the van and seeing cool magical places in nature that I then get inspiration from for my new collections. So that is why I'm here. I am driving the van down to the Tucson Gem Show. I'm getting there tomorrow and I'll be shopping alone for the first 2 days, and then I'll be joined by some of my favorite artists, and they're coming down on Friday, and we got an Airbnb together, and we will be shopping until Monday. Before I went to the Gem Show, I did a pretty deep inventory pass, which I really enjoyed doing because who doesn't love looking at their collection for a few hours one Sunday? Not just counting gemstones and I may be out of this and I may be out of that, but what do I really want to refresh? I have to be very discerning this year. My budget is a little smaller, it's a little more uncertain out there, and I'm still in the middle of pivoting. So I really need to be a little pickier about my choices. I really looked at what I had, what has moved recently, what people have been asking me for. I also have really, the past couple of years, tried to plan out my collections for the full year, so I know which 3 major collections I'm going to be launching. I also have a few other really fun projects coming up. I haven't announced these on my jewelry page yet, but I'll let you guys have a little preview. I basically want to start doing a mystery gem ring where, it would be a little less expensive than if you had selected the stone yourself, and I will just pull the stone out of a big bin of stones and that's what you get. So I really need to select stones for that are in the right price. I also think it would be cool to have like a monthly mystery gemstone drop. Maybe I would announce that the stone for February is moonstone, and then everyone places pre-orders, but you don't know what shape of moonstone you're gonna get. You don't know quite what size you're gonna get. I'll have a whole selection of moonstones so you can kind of see what it will be selected out of, and then that also will be a little less pricey because you're not exactly getting to choose it, but you could choose from like a ring or a necklace. So I have some really fun ideas that I need to stock up for. Those aren't the only ones, but that's what's the clearest right now. And even though I'm mapping everything out, I really like to keep it open because my other favorite thing to do is I'm on Instagram, usually during the whole show, and I ask people questions. I really want to hear what people think, even though I might have an idea already of what I'm going to do. And then sometimes I really just don't know. Like, for example, last year, I was really deciding between these emerald stones and these Savorite garnet stones, both type of green stones. And I thought for sure people were going to want the emeralds, and they were pricier. But when I posted about it, people, not just because of the price, but because of the color, actually like the Savorites better. So that's kind of fun to have a lot of confidence in what you're buying based on your customer feedback in real time. Last year, I had an idea for what collection I was going to start off with at the beginning of the year, and I scrapped it and changed my whole plan because I personally got so inspired by these carnelians I found that were like the most glowing orange, and I just had to make something with them. So I went with it. I really don't want to get stuck in, well, I have to do it this way, or I already planned this. I think it's important to plan, but I think it's also important to be flexible. Something else that happened this week that really validated last week's video is I got in a lot of orders. I had one of my favorite customers reach out to me for 2 new orders. She's so great. She has the best inspirations, and she gives me a lot of free reign on budget and design, and so I always have a lot of fun with those projects. I have another customer that ordered 2 custom pieces. I got in 2 wholesale orders and 2 custom wholesales, and all of these prices are bumped up. Like, these are all new prices, so people are still buying and purchasing, and honestly, not a single one of those customers, retail or wholesale, had anything to say about the prices. Another quick highlight in that vein is one of my best friends reached out to me, and she said that she knows someone that is getting married and in the market for a set of wedding bands. And she didn't know what the style was, just that they wanted them to be in white gold. They confirmed the white gold and a little bit of the style. So I actually decided to do a test of what they were asking for, which was like kind of a band that's about a 1/4 inch with a mountain scene either etched or cut into it somehow. These are exactly the kind of jobs I want to be saying yes to. I want to be working with more fine metals, but I have to admit I was like really scared to say yes. So that's why I decided to come up with the mock-up without even asking them for a down payment or anything. I had to feel confident in myself that I was going to be able to complete the project before I put out my bid. I'm pretty excited about the bid, even though I'm terrified they're going to say yes. I haven't worked extensively with white gold, and I don't know how that's going to go, but I can never progress without what I said was this year's words, decisive action. So I'm doing it. I guess the other revenue generating activity that I've been doing this week is I'm really trying to reach out to more unusual places that I could do permanent jewelry pop-ups. I really have all the equipment and some really fun, unique charms that I make in-house, and I feel like sometimes I get looked over at festivals with the permanent jewelry, or I don't always have time to bring the permanent jewelry if I'm vending alone. It's too much to field the regular jewelry and be putting permanent jewelry on people. So I was like, what if I could just find like gyms, hospitals, bars, nail salons, tattoo parlors or tattoo conventions where it might like work hand in hand with the other products, but I could just set up a little table. I wouldn't be paying a big booth fee. So far, I have not had any bites. I've reached out to about 10 different locations, all unique places, like I was saying. So I'll keep you updated on that. So that's really about it for this week. Sometimes it's just wild to me how little of the time I spend making jewelry, owning a jewelry business, but I can't tell you how excited I am to go shop for gemstones tomorrow. So wish me luck. Maybe I'll see you on Instagram. If you want to keep following this series, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get a notification whenever a new episode comes out. I attempt to put them out Monday, but that rarely works, so it's best to have the notification.